Hi everybody, welcome back to Graceful Art Designs. Today I'm going to be reusing a painting which I did some time ago and which didn't seem to get too much interest. I love the way the tail turned out with the silver and gold and his tail feathers. But anyway, that was my idea of a peacock from side view, painted on a black acrylic base, pour, and just painted on with metallic colour. So today I'm going to reuse it and paint a picture of my cat, one of my cats, Ginger Girl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a ring pour, and you can do a ring pour, well, there are three ways at least that I can think of that you can do a ring pour. Either you can do a base colour and then pour your ring pour onto that, which I'm not going to do, or you can just mix your ring pour colours in the container and pour them out, and that is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to leave it for a while, and then I might blow it out sort of sideways to make the ring effect which she has in her fur. And then the third way you can do a ring pour, which I have done, is you just make a little circle and then another circle of colour around it and over all the way out. And it gives you a more definite concentric circle effect than if you do a ring pour. If you do a ring pour, it's really not going to come out in perfect circles. Anyway, so I'm starting with just a little bit of the creamy white colour that I have, and then I'm going to pour a little bit of the burnt umber mixture down, and then a little bit of the gold and orange and burnt umber. So she doesn't have a lot of cream in her. I mean, the cream is sort of underneath all the ginger and umber sort of colours. No, not umber, sienna colours. And on her tummy she's got a little triangle of white, and she doesn't have any spots. I had a good look at her today and she was sitting on my lap and rolling over. So unlike my tabby, my grey silvery grey one, she's got ginger, she's got cream, she's got silver, and she has the black spots on her tummy and stripes on her back. So they've both got stripes coming down from the head, down the nape of the neck, and then turning into circles around the body. It's really, God and nature are amazing. So I'm just pouring a little of each colour. I don't have a lot of paint, and I don't want to use too much paint because I really think that less is more when it comes to acrylic pouring. Half of it lands on the table, and if you just swirl it around and let it sit and wait for it, it will spread out eventually and cover everywhere that you need it to cover. So that's what I'll continue doing until I've used up all my paint, and then I'll bring you back. So I'm not sure you can see much, but there were nice concentric circles going down. However, they've started mixing and I haven't even begun to pour yet, so here goes. Let's see what happens. They may be all mixed together and no circles whatsoever because one paint is thinner than the other, and there are some blobs there which will require a tweezer. Oh, there's a big blob. Where did they all come from? Wow. Well, I've put down some coasters, some old coasters where the cover has come off underneath, and I'm just going to spread it out this way. And I'm hoping that the colours will run down and cover the coasters because they're such pretty colours that come off. It's a pity to waste them. And you can peel the skins and glue them on or something, I don't know, in some way, but I don't I'd rather just have the pour going straight over then. Okay, so all the cream has landed at the bottom, and that's made a very pretty design. But there it's sitting at the bottom. So if that would come out. But I'm afraid it's certainly far from the design I was hoping for. But I will tilt it now and see what happens. I thought it was going to come out very dark, but it came out very creamy. There was a lot of white and cream in the background in the circles. And so I tilted it, and I tilted a lot of it off. And then I picked up the ginger parts and I put them back on in spoonfuls. And a lot of it even covered my coasters. So now my decision is either to leave it as it is and let it settle and then draw on the cat, or to let it settle a bit and then get the hairdryer and blow it out, starting from the center and just blowing it outwards and see what that does. Now that worked when I had a base coat of black once, and then I poured individual rings of blue and green around it, around the center of the black center, and then I blew them out, and that really made a nice feathery effect like a peacock's tail. But I don't know what this would produce. No idea. And the other problem is I saw a lot of chunks falling, and I've only been able to retrieve one, so I don't know where the others are. I really can't see. And I stuck my finger on the side of the painting, so I had to cover it. And I think I've covered everything now. I didn't work fast enough, and it's getting dark again. I can't see. It's just guessing. So, anyway, I have to go and look for my poor cat, who has seemingly disappeared. And when I come back, I'll decide whether to blow it out or just shape it. I mean, it's pretty, but certainly different to what I imagined. But that's always the beauty of acrylic pours. You never know what you're going to get. I decided this might be one of those paintings where some mouth blowing would help to bring out the darker colours from underneath, and it did, but not everywhere that I needed them. I mean, I could do her lying this way, because that is how she curls up most of the time. Because she's only a three-legged cat, she doesn't stand around much. She just hops and jumps and runs to where she's going for her food, or running away from the other cat, runs to the sandbox and then back to her little bed, or my bed, or wherever she wants to sleep. So then I tilted it, and that also helps a little bit. I think it's still too wet to work on. So maybe I should blow it out anyway, just to get rid of all the excess paint, because I think, although my consistency is good, and this side of the table seems straighter, but it's still definitely more paint pooling in the center. So the only way I'm going to get rid of it is by blowing out from the center out. So I'll just do 2 quick bursts of the hairdryer and see what that does. I tried taking some photos of my cat just to get the right angle, and well, she was on my lap, so all I could get was her face and the side of her body. But she has a very long tail, and what's nice about the tail is that it has these concentric circles of cream and ginger, very distinct. And then she has a distinct ginger collar around her neck. It's very distinct from the rest. So I will paint that in. But for the rest, the paint, although it seems thin, it's not staying. The outlines are not staying where they should be. I've made this leg quite times and it's just moving. So it seems like this time that is settling, but this side is too thick or not settled yet. So if I look at her, the photo of her, you just see kind of a dark outline of a shadow of her stump here. You can't really see it distinguished from the rest of her body. So I need to look at the photo again to see how I can draw that in. Those are the markings I've made. She's got lovely kind of hazily green eyes. I don't know if I should add them in afterwards. I suppose I should, just to make it look like her. And I've made the markings for the stripes. So maybe on those stripes I will add a few ginger highlights, sort of going over the cream. And then this is her stump, and I'll attach a photo so that you can see. Obviously, when she's sitting on my lap, I can only get the front half of her body. I can't get everything in. But like I said, I mean, that's where, I'm not going to get a photo of her standing on her 3 legs. It's sad enough to look at it and to think it could have been prevented. So, I think I'll leave it for now. It seems to be settling. It's only this leg that keeps moving away. Anyway, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to keep fiddling. I will leave it now. And I've got the basic outline, so I can, I don't have to leave the marking there. I can add in ginger around the edges and make a clear design. Luckily, the underneath is dark, so it's not just leaving a white line. And it looks quite natural, but like I said, I'll see what happens when it's dry. The painting dried overnight, and I like it, except I'm quite sorry I painted the tail up there, because I took a beautiful photo of her now, and her tail is wrapped around the front. And in some photos her face looks quite big, like in this one. But in fact her face is very tiny in proportion to her body. That's just because of the way she's lying there. But anyway, that's how it's come out here. I'll make it slightly smaller. I can paint away the background. I was going to leave the background because it's so pretty, and also because I think you'll see the distinction between the background and her once I've outlined her in more of the ginger. But I'll see she's in that photo she's lying on a gold-coloured blanket, so I could just put a bit of gold over it, but then I'll lose the beautiful pattern of the blowout. Anyway, I'll see what I'll do. And the other dilemma is her eyes. Her eyes are kind of a yellowish green, and they kind of squint because her pupils are up in the corners and they're kind of opposite each other, sort of going in opposite directions. A little pink nose. And also another thing I finally saw, she does actually have spots on her tummy. And they're very big spots, and they almost, when she's lying in a certain position, they almost blur each other out. So that was probably why I didn't see them, because they're so close together. But in that position she's lying in now, you can't see them at all. So I'm going to just start by putting in these kind of gold highlights around her eyes. This side has actually got them, but let's see what comes out. Oh, that actually came out quite dark. Okay, let me do that underneath her eye then. It's closer to her fur colour there. This may be the wrong brush, I'm not sure. And that side is dark, just as it is. And then she's got this little nose with a stripe down the middle. So I'll have to put the stripe back somehow. It's really hard. It's going to be an almost impossible task to paint her.